Eagles Entertainment.
Hello, Eagles everywhere, and welcome to the Eagles Insider Podcast presented by Lincoln Financial Group, a special edition of the Eagles Insider Podcast. We're going to call this the Who's Playing Where on the Offensive Line version of the podcast, because that's what we're kind of dealing with right now with the Philadelphia Eagles. On Saturday, head coach Doug Pederson confirming reports that second-year tackle Andre Dillard will miss the season with a biceps injury suffered Thursday in practice. So when you combine that with the loss of Brandon Brooks, the Pro Bowl right guard, who was hurt in the spring, it makes you wonder who, the old baseball thing, Abbott and Costello, who's on first? Well, in this case, the questions are who's playing left tackle, who's playing right guard, and where is the depth coming with an offensive line group that is young, and extremely unproven. In this podcast, we're going to hear from two of those young players, Matt Pryor and Jordan Mailata. We'll hear from Trey Thomas to give us his perspective on what it will take to get this offensive line intact for the September 13th opener at Washington. But first, some one-on-one time here with head coach Doug Pederson, who breaks down some of the prospects for that left tackle position. We all know Jason Peters can play over there, but the Eagles want to make sure that they have more than one option. Head coach Doug Pederson joins me, Eagles insider Dave Spadaro, on this Saturday. Let's talk offensive line. Coach, first time you've been in a situation heading into a season with so many kind of questions about the offensive line. How does the coaching staff react?
Well, we react positively. I mean, it's something that we know injuries are part of our game, part of our sport. It happens. It's unfortunate with Andre and that he's obviously going to miss the season. But listen, we brought Jason Peters back for obviously a reason to replace Brandon Brooks at right guard. And we know he can play left tackle, but we also got some young players that we're interested in looking at further. Jordan Mailata, Matt Pryor, guys like that. Jack Driscoll's done a nice job in training camp. So, we've got some time here before we play. Great opportunity for some young guys. Obviously, it does kind of thin us out, from a backup standpoint, but I know Howie and his guys are on it as far as getting some players, in here to take a look at as well from a backup and depth perspective. But we're full steam ahead, and we're moving with the guys we have.
Doug, what have you seen from Mailata?
He had a really good week last week. He I think kind of getting back out there now and getting comfortable in the position and with the pads on and the whole thing. 'Cause he did miss a little bit of time, in camp and just kind of going through the walkthroughs and all that. But now that he's had a chance to go through some live padded practices, he's done a really nice job. He's a massive human being, obviously, as we know. He moves really well. Still got to focus on some technique and fundamental things with him, but he's done a nice job.
The familiarity of the position, of the NFL game, the football IQ, are you comfortable with where he is in that regard?
I think that's something that he's still learning. He's still learning the game. You got to remember he's new to the position, new to football. But as I said, he did a nice job last week, not only physically but mentally as well, understanding the information that we've put out there as a coaching staff, because we've thrown a lot at these players in a short period of time, and he's handled it well.
Has Pryor taken reps at all four positions other than center in this training camp?
He's taken 3 of the 5. Right guard, right tackle, left tackle.
Okay.
And so he's a guy that can kind of play them all right now, and he's had a consistent camp as well, and he's another one that has got game experience for us, so that goes a long way for him.
And then for Driscoll, who didn't have the spring reps, really unfortunate for all these players, how much growth has he made in a short time?
He's come along. He's a sharp guy. He's he understands. He details his work from the standpoint of being able to take it from the classroom out on the practice field. Physical guy, just learning the position, and playing at this level. I think the speed of the game, but he's been able to handle it pretty well.
What does this week mean for the football team? How important is this week leading into the cuts next Saturday?
These next couple of days are pretty important. We'll have another scrimmage coming up tomorrow at Lincoln Financial, which we're excited about doing, And it's another great opportunity to really evaluate our entire roster, and then in particular some of our young players, guys that are competing and fighting for roster spots. And and really after that, then things kind of, I'd say, taper off. But they, camp would I guess in some respects is over, and we get ready for Washington.
Doug, with everything that happened football-wise, the social injustice, Jacob Blake, etc., what have you learned about your locker room?
I've always said that, from a football side, it's a resilient team. Now from this sort of off the field social injustice, some of the things that are happening in our country, it's more resilient than ever. These guys are coming together for a lot of different reasons, but they're united, which is really good to see. And we can take the pads off, we can take the take the coaching hat off, and it's our job to listen and to understand and to educate ourselves on what's going on, and be supportive of our players. But our team has battled a lot. They've gone through a lot, but they've done a nice job handling all that.
Final question, Doug. You always say iron sharpens iron. Have you seen that in this training camp?
I have, and we talk so much offense, defense, and special teams, but at the end of the day, we're the Philadelphia Eagles, and we've had some great practices, leading up to today, and it's really made us a better football team, where we are, and it's sort of brought us, probably even closer together. I can't, obviously you can't predict the future, and you don't know what's going to happen this season, but I know that, our guys have done a nice job of competing, protecting each other, coming together as a football team, and that's very good to see as a head coach.
Head coach Doug Pederson, thanks so much. Have a great day, and good luck at the scrimmage on Sunday.
Thank you, Dave.
Matt Pryor saw some significant time in the 2019 regular season. He played a game against the Seahawks, part of that game when Brandon Brooks injured. He replaced Brooks in the Giants game, Week 17, finished it out there, and then came back and played the entire playoff game against Seattle at right guard. Now, he's in the mix, as you heard Doug Pederson say, for the left tackle position. And in fact, that's where he lined up on Saturday at the NovaCare Complex, as we saw on the live feed on PhiladelphiaEagles.com and the team's official app and the social media channels. So what's going on with Matt Pryor? How ready is he to step up now full-time somewhere in year number 3? I go one-on-one and ask that very question to Matt Pryor. In the NFL, you've got to be ready for everything, and that's what players must learn very early in their careers. So joining me now is Matt Pryor, Eagles offensive lineman. I'm not going to call you one position, Matt, because that's just the way it is, right?
Yeah.
Like, when did you figure it out that you got to be able to play everywhere?
Man, when I came in, Stout was already heavy on it. I remember when I came for my 30 visit, and Chung kind of shot me a trick question when we were out to eat. He was like, what position do you prefer? And, me being comfortable at right tackle, I was like, man, I prefer right tackle. And off the bat, that next day, Stout gave it to me. He goes, oh, you're just a one-position kind of guy, huh? Nah, here you're going to have to play everything. I was like, oh.
It's true, though. And, I wonder, how does it not get maybe frustrating for a young guy who, you establish yourself in college, you come into the league, if I'm a right tackle or whatever it is. Does it get frustrating at all? Is there a battle that, when you're young, that you have to kind of overcome?
It's not really frustrating, but it's that mental switch. You got to flip plays. You got to readjust your set lines. Your angles, your hips, physically. You got to do different things with your body. So as frustration, no, but it's a challenge, and I like having a challenge. It's just gonna make me a better player.
Matt, not until the Giants game last year, those two games, Giants, Seattle, and the Seattle a little bit earlier, did you get some playing time? What did that do for you in terms of belief in yourself, understanding that, hey, not only do I think I can do it on the field in the NFL, I can actually, I've got proof. Look, I went out there and did it. How much did that help?
It helped a lot. We go against Fletch all day. You got Vinny Curry. You got Sweat. You got Malik. You're going against a great D-line in practice every day. So it kind of prepares you for that game experience, because not everybody has that same kind of D-line. And, you know, of course, in practice, every player kind of, you know, gets used to seeing everybody's moves and knowing what's coming towards them. But, you know, when you jump into a game, you don't know what's going to happen. Defense isn't going to know the play. You know, they're not going to be able to tell, you know, what you're doing. And being able to assess, you know, what I've practiced in that sense in a real game, and it showed, you know, that I've developed pretty good.
Matt, how do you feel about the way this training camp has gone for you?
Man, I feel good. You know, I jump position to position. You know, I enjoy it. Again, it's a challenge, you know, and, you know, that's the best way to really get a player to develop is to challenge them. And, man, I just enjoyed it, you know, being back over here after, you know, being in quarantine, not being able to be around the guys. You know, it's fun. You just got to enjoy it.
What will these next few days, this next week, this next 2 weeks, we're 2 weeks away from the opener, what will they be like for you? I mean, tense, exciting? Like, how would you describe it?
And it's exciting. And it's an opportunity. And, you know, every player waits on their opportunity to get out there, you know, and showcase what they have. And, you know, that's what I'm about to do. I'm about to take advantage of it.
Matt, if you are the left tackle on September 13th against Washington, or the right guard for that matter, if you're starting an NFL opening game, what will that mean to you?
Man. It's something, you know, every player looks forward to, you know, being able to start. It'll mean a lot, you know, that the coaches can depend on me to be that guy. And, you know, I'm just ready to get out there and, you know, showcase what I've been working on.
Very exciting times, right? I mean, you got an opportunity in front of you. This is what everybody, no matter how it happens, every player wants to have that opportunity.
Oh, yeah.
Is that kind of the way you look at it?
Yeah.
Matt Pryor, thanks so much for joining me, and good luck the rest of the way here in camp. See you September 13th against Washington.
Appreciate you.
In 2018, the Eagles traded up to go after an athlete, somebody who'd never played professional football before, a former Australian rules player who was a star there, who came to America, went to the IMG Academy to learn the game of American football. Here we are, 3 summers later, and Jordan Mailata is in the mix for some serious playing time in 2020. The Eagles are using him at both tackle positions, and with the lack of depth here, why not Jordan Mailata as one of the players to really become a factor? He's never been in an NFL game in the regular season. Is he ready now? Mailata says absolutely. Jordan Mailata is in his 3rd year. We talked earlier in this offseason on the Eagles Insider podcast about his progress. He says he's ready to be a player. He's ready to be a player right now. I'm Eagles Insider Dave Spitzer, and we're going to find out about Jordan Mailata. Hi, Jordan. How are you, buddy?
Hey, Spuds. How's it going?
It's going fine. What's going through your mind these days as the offensive line is looking for people to step up and fill some holes?
I'll tell you what's going through my mind. I think it's about time that I start working and keep putting in the hard work and do whatever it takes to be in this team. And wherever they need me, I'll be there. I'm trying to, you know, take advantage of every opportunity they give me and make sure that we can do this and win the championship this year.
You've talked a lot about the growth that you've had, learning how to assess situations and just learning about the game of American football. How much have you come from 3 years ago to now, Jordan? Can you kind of quantify that?
Mate, basically it's like day and night. My first rookie year was, when I look back, I'm like, man, I really didn't know anything. To now, it's just like amazing. It's just like day and night for me. Everything's slowed down, able to read coverages and just assess the situation. I think being in my 3rd year, just knowing the tempo and the speed of the game, knowing which angles to take on a run and pass is very critical and important.
How do you feel about the way you've played through training camp?
I think I've done a great job so far. Had some bad reps in there, which I'm going to go through and look back and see what I can do better. But I'm very happy with my performance.
And physically, Jordan, how much has your body changed? Has your strength changed in these last couple of years?
I think we've, as a unit or just as myself, I I've really taken the time this year to just break down my body and take care of it. I didn't want to go 3 years in a row with an injury, so we did some work in the off season just to get me in a routine to properly prepare my body for every practice and get myself right strength wise and flexibility wise.
So Jordan, what are your expectations here? We got 2 weeks to go before the opener. What do you anticipate happening in your world for the next 2 weeks?
My world is day by day. I live it day by day. It's just trying to get better every day. Every rep that I get with the Team 1 guys, I love, and I'm going to take every opportunity I get. I'm going to give it my all and just show the team and show the world what I can do.
What's the mood in that offensive line room? Brandon Brooks down, now Andre Dillard down. Are guys going, hey, why not me? Why can't I be the one to step up and help this football team?
Yeah, I think that's the great thing about our room. We've always had that who's next or next man up mentality. So everyone's really hungry, and we're all supporting each other and just and going the right direction, really. So we're pretty high spirits right now. So yeah, pretty lucky to have a room like ours.
If Stout put on the film, and on one side there was Jordan Mailata, from 3 training camps ago, and on the right side of the screen there was Jordan Mailata from this training camp, split screen, how much different would you look?
Oh, you would see the difference, mate. You can tell. I was a rugby player my rookie year.
In what way? So it was like footwork. It was like you were grabbing people.
Everything, everything was bad.
Yeah.
Everything, splits, stance, even the punch was wrong. Like I was just doing everything wrong.
Do you feel that you're good now, technically?
Yeah, I think now I'm more technically sound than I've ever been. But I know there's more room for improvement, and I can get better.
Are you excited about the opportunity ahead?
Hell yeah. Very excited.
Love to hear that. Jordan Mailata, thanks so much. Enjoy the rest of training camp. Keep getting better, and we'll see you September 13th at Washington.
Thanks, buds.
We finish up the podcast here with a visit from former Eagles Pro Bowl left tackle Trey Thomas, former NFL coach, who understands that with only 2 weeks to go, the clock is ticking on the Eagles getting things right up front for the regular season. Okay, Trey Thomas, the Eagles have some challenges along the offensive line. What is your read about what's going on up front?
When you have Dillard go down, that was a big blow, and then, I don't know if JP was getting enough reps within the training camp to really develop the muscle memory that it's going to take to be at right guard. So, the natural choice is to have him to move over to left tackle, but who knows how that's going to play out. I see that they're mixing and matching guys in there, trying to see if Prince can get over there, if Matt Pryor can get over there and play as well. So
another name also mentioned here is Jordan Mailata. 2 years on the injured reserve list, hasn't played in a regular season game. Trey, what have you seen from him when you've been able to watch him these previous 2 years in preseason games?
When you go back and you watch some of the preseason games, he looks like he was holding himself, like he could handle himself. But, it depends on if he can be able to go out there and give it to you consistently. He has the size, he has all of the tools, but, it's totally different when you're out there against the 2s and 3s, and in a preseason game compared to when it's out there full tilt. And when it comes to defense usually clicks a lot quicker than the offense. So you're going to be catching guys full tilt and fresh when you're coming out there for the first couple games. So it's going to be interesting. For him, I would see if he could be the swing tackle. I would work him at both the left and right tackle position. But to me, the natural move is to move JP back over to left tackle. And then what? Play Matt Pryor at right guard? Oh yeah, absolutely. I always said from jump that Matt Pryor should have been the right guard, but bringing JP back to go ahead and fill that role, you knew that was going to happen. But to me, I always felt that Matt Pryor should have been your starting right guard after Brandon Brooks went down. Trey, the other part of this is developing depth when there's been no spring workouts and there's no preseason games, and guys like Herbig and Opeta and Prince Tiga and all these young players. Can you get better during the season when these young players are in practice taking more reps? Well, it's not like like how we used to play, where it was like Wednesdays and Thursdays used to be a more physical practice. Now it's kind of everything is just, I don't go out to every practice, but I know it's not like how it used to be when we would go out there and practice on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Hell, it was damn near like training camp a couple times when we had to do the 9-on-7 and team periods and one-on-one pass rush. So, it's kind of hard when you have to develop some of these guys, but that's the challenge right now. All you can do is try to make sure that their technique is sound, and that even though they're out there in some of these faster walkthrough situations, just making sure that you're extremely critical of what's going on so that you can make sure that there isn't a slide in technique.
You talked about the defense being ahead of the offense. It's probably the case throughout the league. Do you anticipate early season a lot of real difficulties by offensive lines throughout the league?
Yes. Yeah, I do think so, just because, defense is going to always click a little bit quicker. It takes offensive line, any offense really, to kind of, gel, just because of the timing that has to happen when it comes to offense. Defense is a lot easier. A lot of times it's see ball, get ball. You have your reads or whatever, but you pretty much just cutting loose. With offense, it's a timing situation and spacing and all of that. That takes a little time to develop. So, I do think that you're going to see the better defenses really making some noise.
That week 1 matchup against Washington, that front is no joke. This is going to be a really tough assignment for the Eagles.
Yeah, man, their first 5 games are no joke. I mean, when you just look at, especially Washington with what they've added to their front with the young rusher Chase Young, but their 5-man front is no joke out there. And then you come in and then you have the Rams, and then you go to the Bengals, but then now you come back, you have the 49ers. I mean, your first 5 games are all top team pass rushing defenses. When you look at it, when it comes to sacking the quarterback, I mean, you're going against 4 of the top 10 pass rushing defenses within your first 5 weeks.
What do you think Jeff Stoutland's thinking about these days?
What are you going to do as far as that left tackle position? If Jason Peters is like, all right, I want to try to stay here at right, what are you going to do? But I mean, you have to be looking at, all right, who's going to be my left tackle? And then also, all right, well, what's going to happen on your right side? Lane Johnson hasn't practiced in several days. I don't know what the issue is there. So it's a lot that has to happen, and that you're going to have to kind of massage to get ready for week 1.
Yeah, and last one, Trey, this really doesn't happen with the Eagles. I can't remember the last time the Eagles were in a situation where before the season they had so much uncertainty. Do you recall a time?
No, I don't. No, I don't. I not that I can remember any time that it was all of these questions going into just a couple weeks out from the season.
Yeah. Well, that's
and then I think, man, also what does create more questions is lack of preseason games. You don't have any preseason games, so you have no one knows anything. All you're going off of is just what's seen in practice, and it's hard to tell because the quarterbacks have on a red jersey, so you're not getting all full tilt. Guys are pulling up at some point, so it's really kind of hard to figure out what's going on.
Amazing. Hey, Trey, thanks so much.
All right, no problem, bro.
Take care. That will do it for this Eagles Insider episode presented by Lincoln Financial Group. Thanks to Peter Kelly, Ray Doyle for all of their work. Thanks to all of you for joining each and every episode. We've been busy, huh? And it's only going to get busier as the regular season approaches. If you have a moment to give us a little review there, please do so. It's in the details section of your podcast library. I'm Eagles Insider Dave Spadaro. Thanks for joining, everyone. Have yourselves a great Eagles weekend, and fly, Eagles, fly.
E-A-G-L-E-S